welcome back. So yeah, we're gonna do some more um scripting. So let's get straight to it. We're going to go outside of the update method. We're gonna add a whole new method, and this is to set the bounds. Boom! I'm a fast typer, ain't I? No, I'm just kidding. I already have this written. So we're gonna do it's a private method. It's called set bounds. I bet you know what it's gonna do. Yeah, that's right. It's gonna set the bounds of the screen. So um we get the position of right. We get our current position of of our, we call it new position though, but we get the position of the spider. Yeah. And then we also make a variable called my camera. And this is just so we don't have to keep typing camera.main over and over again. We can just say my camera from now on. Vector 3 camera position equals my camera dot transform dot position. Guess what? That's the camera position. Okay, now you know how to get the position of a camera. Amazing. Yeah. So now what you have here is a wow. Yes. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. So you get your x distance, which is camera that aspect times camera that orthographic size. Orthographic size is the actual x length of your screen size. Camera that aspect is the ratio between your x and your y. Your length and your height of your screen. So then that's what this is doing. It's getting the total length of your screen, or rather, yeah, getting, yeah, okay. And actually, no, yeah. Okay, so camera x, your max is, see, when I said the whole x value of your orthographic size, keep in mind that I meant from the center of the screen. So if you actually wanted the whole length to be twice as long as that, or twice as big. So what this is doing is it's getting the camera position of x, the x value of it, and adding the x distance. To get the minimum, it's getting the camera position and subtracting the x distance. So this way you can get the minimum value, or the far left side of your screen, and with x max you get the far right side of your screen. Okay, so here we're doing some basic math where it's saying if you're at the edge of the screen, then you know what, flip our, yeah, new position x. Sorry about that. I just had to space it out a little. It was getting a little annoying. But anyhow, it's calculating your new position, and it's actually turning the direction in which you're going in the opposite direction, because that would mean that you're already at the edge of the screen. This is doing the same thing, except that you have only the y max. Why do you only want the y max? Well, that's because this is actually right. You're at the center, your y value isn't moving, only the x value is going to be moving with the scrolling game. So yeah, you don't have to do any calculations to get a new y max and a new y min. Basically, if you want the min, it's just the negative of y max. So yeah, we change the direction again, and actually after we get both our new position, we actually set our sprite position to the new position. So that's all this is doing. So let's run it and see what it does. Okay, hold up. Okay. So all I did was save it. Now I can actually run it. Or all I did was save the script, but now I can run the game. And let's see what happens. I'm not going to do anything. And that was weird. Oh, I know why that happened. See, what we were supposed to do is, in the update method, see, we actually created this new method, but nothing is ever calling it. So what we're going to do is, we're actually going to call set bounds every time that that get update gets called. Okay, now we're gonna save this again, and we're gonna go back to Unity as soon as it decides to stop being so slow. Whatever, good enough. Okay, so we're gonna run it, and hopefully this time, once the spider reaches the edge of the screen, it'll turn back by itself. Look at that, it did it. Awesome. Now we want to make the skeleton move, but for that, let's just I'll get into more detail later, but let's just add a physics 2D component to the skeleton, and it'll be a rigid body. Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Now we want to add a component. We'll add a new script, and we'll call it skeleton controller. Okay. Create it. Should be created now. And I'll double click to open it. Here we go. Okay. Above start, we want to declare a new variable, speed, once again. Since the skeleton starts at the top of the screen, we actually want him to go down to the bottom of the screen. So we're going to set the speed to -1. Next, inside of start, we want to add this method, or not method, but this, instantiation, I guess you could call it. So you have your rigid body 2D, and we're setting its velocity to this new vector, which is only 2, and we're giving it 0 and speed. What does this do? Well, what we're saying is we're setting the velocity to x equals 0, which means it's not moving in the x direction at all, but speed equals whatever we determine it to be. In this case right now it's -1, but in Unity we can actually change this to whatever value we want. Okay, so yeah, we can save this. And actually, we're going to add one more method before we actually run it. Let's add this at the bottom of update. And it's on become invisible. What this does is, if at any point during the game, the skeleton moves out of the screen, visible screen, it becomes destroyed. This way it doesn't take up, your memory, etc. Okay, so let's save it. File save, go to Unity. Okay, good, no errors. So you can also go here to the console, and the console will tell us if there's any errors. If this is red, you'll have some red texture, and it'll say what kind of errors you have. Okay, so let's run it. And okay, well, that was interesting. Let's try that again. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think I know what the problem is. Go to skeleton, and in rigid body, we'll say is kinematic. And for now, let's try seeing what that does. Okay, well, you see, that's much better. Except that the spider is still disappearing. Okay, whatever. Okay, it seems that I figured out what the problem was. What happened was, if we select spider run 0, and we go to our inspector, my sorting layer was actually a default instead of it being in spider. But now that I set it to spider, that spider doesn't disappear. Okay, that's great. I know I promised we would get to colliders in this tutorial, but I'm going to try to keep this tutorial short. And I think I'll end it here for now. Yeah, next one for sure. We will start off with colliders.